You can't be serious, man. You cannot be serious!
Okay, now I'm going to put a call into Eddie Maguire in Paris, and let's hope the technology up at Early Beach here works. Something on the boat works. So here we go. We're trying to ring him now. Just a minute. We've putting a call in. He's 8 hours behind us, so it should be 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock in Paris.
The great Sam Newman.
Eddie Maguire from Paris in France. We're up at Early Beach here, and it's very nice to speak to you, my friend. How are you going?
I'm very, very well, buddy. What's happening here? You're still afloat? I'm following you with great interest.
Marginally afloat. There is, as we speak, 3 people from different aspects. There's a plumber, an electrician, and a bow thruster expert on the boat as we speak. It's like ants building a colony.
Sounds like my house. I lived in a concrete commission house in Broadmeadows. I don't think we ever saw a tradesman in the entire time I lived there. And now I live in some palatial place in Toorak, and there's fitting of this tradesman crawling all over the joint. I don't know what's happened. I think I might have to go back to the concrete commission house.
Well, now, thank you very much for doing this. I know you're extremely busy. Just tell me, what are your duties over there for the Paris Olympics?
Well, it kicks off for me tomorrow, Sam. I'm lucky enough to be hosting the announcement of the flag bearers for Australia. So that starts tomorrow, so they'll be across to Australia for that. Then on
that's on 9?
The competition's on, that's on 9.
Yep.
And then I'll be hosting all the gold medal sort of live events.
Wow.
As you know, that's my sort of forte doing that.
I know, but only too well. You're a star at it, mate. What?
Thanks, mate. Well, that'll be overnight in Australia, so I'll be working sort of from 4 in the afternoon or 2 in the afternoon here till 10 o'clock at night, which will sort of go, because of the time zone, all the live action happening overnight into Australia.
Yep.
And then I'll host the closing ceremony as well.
Fantastic, mate. That is so exciting, and so what a feather in your cap, Ed. I mean, it's no, you're a star. Now, have you got the Bruce McAvaney book on statistics? Have you read all that up?
Yes. In fact, sitting here this morning, it's 9 o'clock in Paris at the moment, and just going through all that at the moment. Yeah, just going through our medal hopes, of which there are plenty. It's going to be an amazing Olympic Games for Australia, and at the moment, I'm just sort of comparing the BBC with Sports Illustrated in my own notes, and because we tend to overestimate, they tend to underestimate, but we're anywhere between 15 to 20 odd gold medals, real gold medal chances at the Olympics this year in multiple, from quite appropriate talking to you, in the water or on the water. We're going to do very, very well.
Have we got any hope in the break dancing?
Well, we've got 2 hopes in the breakdance.
Have we?
But, probably not the favourites. But I'll tell you where we are going well. As I said, on the water, we've got the sailing. Matthew Wern is a chance to go back to back. He won the dinghy gold medal last time around. The swimmers are unbelievable. This could be one of the greatest ever Olympians. Ariana Titmus is up against in the shorter distances. Molly O'Callaghan, her compatriot, she's got Summer McIntosh, the Canadian, and then as she goes up in distance, she comes up against Katie Ledecky and others. So it's not like this is going to be one of those ones where you have an outstanding swimmer who just goes in and cleans up everything. She's going to have to beat some of the best, young and oldest, some of the most talented emerging, and some of the greatest swimmers in the history of the Olympics to win, and she's a real chance to do it too. She could win 2 gold and maybe a silver, maybe even 3 gold.
Fantastic. So that kicks off that the swimmers do their stuff and in the first week of the games, don't they?
Yeah. No, first night we could have a couple of gold medals in the back pocket. We are absolutely favourites for the women's 4x100, which I think is on day 1. Jessica Fox starts her defence of her canoe and kayak gold medal from Tokyo. She's a chance to win 3. And how's this for a story, Sam? She's odds on, and I don't have the information yet on who will be the flag carrier, so I can actually just talk openly. But I'm sort of punting that she will be carrying the flag for Australia. Her mother won a bronze medal in the canoeing for France. Her father was a champion canoer for England. She came out to Australia as a 7-year-old. And in the great Australian migrant story, she'll be going back and holding the Australian flag as she goes down the River Seine on Saturday as the Australian flag bearer, and a chance to maybe be if she wins the 3 gold medal, she'll be the most successful kayaker canoer in the history of the sport. And she's just absolutely unbelievable. And there's another bloke called Cassiel Rousseau. Now, you'll appreciate this, Sam, because you're at the 56 Olympics, and Cassiel Rousseau is a favourite, one of the favourites for the diving and the 10-metre platform. His grandfather won an Olympic cycling gold medal for France at the Melbourne 56 Olympics.
Well, I'll be out at the Melbourne Velodrome, wasn't it?
It was indeed out of Preston. It was, yeah.
Speaking of the River Seine, Ed, I noticed the sports minister, a woman, she dived into the River Seine to prove that you didn't have to go to hospital after you'd had a swim in it. How did she pull up, and how is the River Seine? Is there much controversy about it?
People would say she was insane, literally and figuratively, Sam.
But she swam there undeterred.
Exactly, very much, all over. Well, so far the weather's been good. So they've spent a couple of billion euro to try and purify the River Seine, and so far it hasn't worked. but they're ploughing on, Sam. I did notice when they jumped in, there weren't too many duck diving, I can tell you, but they say that it's okay. Now, that would be okay, but if I was a triathlete, I'd be going, right, okay. Yeah. The plan B for the triathlon is that they cut out the swimming and becomes a biathlon.
That's seriously. Extraordinary. Yeah, so if it gets too E. coli inhibited, we cancel it, do we?
Well, as they say, everyone will get a bronze, mate. Everyone will get a bronze.
Now, tell me, is surfing in the Olympics, or have I dreamt that? Where are they doing that?
Yeah, and they're doing it in Tahiti, which is as furthest as it's ever been from anywhere in the history of the Olympics. But it's an absolute ripping surfing place as far as the waves are concerned. Big waves, and again, we're a chance. Jack Robinson is a chance, and Molly Picklum are both chances of winning medals at least, and could win golds as well. But certainly, both are a chance to podium in the surfing in Tahiti.
They should have bitten the bullet and gone to Portugal, to Navarre, is it? Or where the big wave riders go, where they ride 70 and 80-foot waves?
Well, this is the next best thing. They reckon this is one of the absolute toughest and, life on the line type of thing as well on a big day. So it's a genuine surfing spot. So good on them for not trying to do it off the coast of Calais or something. Yeah.
Yeah. So what about the track and field? Have we got any of the marquee events? I know they're all marquee events, but have we got any chance in the traditional track and field?
Well, Nina Kennedy is the favourite to win the gold in the pole vault at the moment.
How would that be if she won that?
Well, she's a real chance. We've got two chances. Nicola Olaslayers is in the high jump, and she is a real chance as well. So, in the fields where, as I said, Nina, I watched her down in Monaco, and she cleaned up everybody. She won again on the weekend in London. Nicola Olaslayers comes in. She was formerly Nicola McDermott, and Eleanor Patterson. So they're up against the Ukrainian Mahukic, who's sensational. She's probably going in favourite. But the two Aussie girls, it's like anything. You're an old high jumper. On your day, you get it right. You just exactly. You should be good at throwing the leg over. I remember.
I'm glad you can.
Thank you, Nicola and Eleanor. Both real chances. So 27 and 28 years of age. The Ukrainian girls 22, but they could do anything from gold, silver to anywhere in that situation. Jemima Montag in your favourite event, the walk. She's a chance to win as well. And there's a woman by the name of Jessica Hull, and Jessica Hull, Sam, in the women's 1500 metres. So let me just set this up. She has been a great Australian athlete, and anyway, a couple of weeks ago, she decided, no, you know what, I'm going to have a real go today. I'm going to get stuck in the 1,500 metres in the Diamond League event, and I'm going to just see how far I can go against these Africans and see if I can hang in there. You know what she did? She ran the fifth fastest 1,500 metres in the history of athletics. She was absolutely sensational.
That's extraordinary.
And then last week at the Diamond League event down in Monaco, where, as I said, I was lucky enough to be sitting actually there watching her in action, she broke the world record. Let me say that again.
Did she?
She broke the world record on the track for 2,000 metres. Now, granted, they don't run 2,000 metres all the time, but it was the first time we'd broken a world record on the track in a middle distance event since Ralph DeBell won the gold medal in the 1968 Olympics in the 800 metres. So
that's
she is
something akin to you being at the Munich World Cup in 2006, watching Australia play. I don't know who they were playing, but that's another.
Brazil, it was.
It was too. Fantastic. Yeah. So now, what about the? How are we going?
And I'll chuck in. Can I chuck in Matthew Denny as well in the discus, who's finished in the top three in every event that he's been involved in the Diamond League this year. Now there's probably 4 or 5 who can win the medals, but he is right in there. So that'd be fantastic for Matt Denny as well. So we've got some good, and not only that, but don't forget, as we always say in the athletics, making the finals a huge effort when you're taking on everybody in the world. But keep an eye out in the big events. Do you want to give you a couple of big names to look out for?
Come on.
Noah Lyles in the 100 metres, the American flamboyant superstar. He's up against a guy called Fred Curley, who's another American who's like an early Mike Tyson, just has the mad stare and would prefer to fight you running down the 100 than probably race you. Marcel Jacobs is the defending American. In the women's, Sha'Carri Richardson is the flamboyant. She's got the long nails, the braided hair, all that sort of stuff. Up against Sharika Jackson from Jamaica and Shelly-Ann Fraser-Price. That'll be absolutely fantastic.
Wouldn't you reckon, Ed? Wouldn't you reckon? I've watched. I love those women running. Wouldn't you reckon those long braided hair and fingernails would have to contribute to it taking a tenth off your time? Wouldn't it?
Yeah,
hair goes down to a waist and braided, and they got jewellery, and it's a sort of a fashion show. And the athletics is almost incidental.
Well, I'm with you on that, and not only that, but they've got chains around their waist now, and all these chains around their necks and carry on. So she's the flamboyant sort of, almost ghetto type American black athlete. She's got the voice and the attitude and the rest of it. And then in the 200 metres, you've got Gabby Thomas, who is the Harvard-educated 200-metre runner, beautiful, stylish, articulate, works 10 hours a week in a hospital, the whole business. So she's in the 200 metres, which
polar
is
opposites.
Just unbelievable.
Now, Ed,
so can I
yep.
I want to tell you one more.
Go ahead.
Go on.
No, I just wanted to ask.
Let me give you one more.
The 100, right?
Yeah, go on.
The 100 metres, is it under threat? Usain Bolt, I think, world record is 9.56, I think. Maybe I've got that wrong. That wouldn't be under threat, would it?
No, I wouldn't think so.
Is it 9.56? I think it is.
Yeah, so Noah Lyles 9.81 is his. He ran that the other day. It's the 15th fastest time of all time. So he's they're in the neighbourhood. Fred Curley's run 9.76 in the World Championships in 2022.
I've got Suzanne Stanley checking the time. She's standing by here, says hello to you. She's checking the time of Usain Bolt. Go ahead, Ed.
Yeah. But Usain Thompson is the Jamaican.
Yes.
Now, Lyles won the US trials was just sensational in 9.83. Anyway, a couple of days later, Thompson comes out and runs 9.77 in Kingston, Jamaica, and has just shot the lights out at 22 years of age. So it is going to be an absolute belter of a men's 100-metre final. So that's going to be great.
I was 2.2 out. His world record is 9.58 seconds, Usain Bolt, and he ran it at 28 miles an hour. It was the top speed he got to in the 100-metre dash.
I saw him run in London, and he ran past me. I got windburn. I I was lucky enough. I did a bit of time with him in Oslo before the London Olympic Games when I went over and interviewed him. And actually, he's just a great fella. Spent a lot of time with him. We went down to training one day. He ran past me. And as I said, I could feel the wind as he went past, and the sound of his feet hitting the track, Sam, was like hitting a bass drum. It was unbelievable. The power, and the machismo, and the whole thing. So just unbelievable. Now, the one other one I want to get you right across is the men's 1,500 metres.
Yep.
There's a bloke there that you're going to love. His name is Jakob Ingebrigtsen.
Yep.
Okay, of Norway.
Yep.
Now you know the 1,500 metres is it's the metric mile. It's the Blue Riband event. He won the European Championships as a 15-year-old. Sorry, take that back. As a 17-year-old. A 17-year-old, he won the European Championship. He's the defending men's 1,500 metre Olympic champion. He will go out and he will be racing in the men's 1,500, Sam, and he could do anything. He could break the world record. He's got the short back and sides, and then he's got the tattoos. Looks like a bit like Jack Crisp, if you like, of Collingwood in that regard. But he is absolutely sensational. Ollie Hoare of Australia is the Australian record in the 1,500. He's done really well. He won the 1,600 metre race in London at the weekend. But Ingebrigtsen's in a different class. But he's up against a guy called Josh Kerr from Scotland. And let me say this. If a fight starts out on the back straight of the 1,500, don't be surprised. Right? There is absolute animosity, and let me say, and there's another guy called Tim Chiriot of Kenya who beat Ingebrigtsen, I think, 12 times in a row until the final of the 1,500 Olympics last year. But here's a little bit of extra for Ingebrigtsen. He filed suit against his coach and father for abuse. His father's been charged. Ingebrigtsen will run the 15 and the 5,000, could win both. And now, just to show the enmity, his father's actually coaching the other Norwegian in the 5,000 metres just to get at his son. And Jakob and his two brothers have now formed a team against the father and the world to win these gold medals.
Holy mackerel.
He's an absolute beauty.
You've swallowed a ticker tape. You've swallowed a ticker tape reel. You've got more stats and more. You sound like you've swallowed a thesaurus. It's extraordinary.
Mate, it's so exciting, mate. And but the backstories and all these things are what makes things happen. And as I said, Jessica Hull has come from nowhere, and she might have just literally timed her run. That you just get it right sometimes, don't you? She's 27 years of age. But, if she can medal in the women's 1,500, that is just unbelievable. She's up against a woman called Faith Kippigan, who is just a superstar. No one's got near her for years. She's the defending gold medalist. She won gold medal in Rio. She won it in Tokyo in the 1,500. She broke the world record only 2 weeks ago in the same race that Jessica Hull finished second to her. She broke the world record just jogging around. So, she's probably a shoo-in for the gold. But if Jess Hull can get up and get a medal, it'd be absolutely sensational.
And we thought, Ed, you were going over there to eat frog's legs and snails and eat some smelly cheese. But no, you've got the thing by the throat over there. Now, I've got to ask you this.
Right.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah. And one other one, Mondo Duplantis is the pole vaulter. He's from Sweden, born in LA, but Swedish, and you'll love him. He's this good-looking Sue. Look out for this bloke, Mondo, they call him. He's a ripper. He just about breaks the world record every time he jumps, and he is good-looking. He's explosive, Sam, with his speed, gets great power through the pole, and he's just a beauty. So look out for him.
I suppose you heard, I'm not sure if it's been announced or anything, but I heard just on the grapevine that someone had a shot at the ex-president of the United States, Donald Trump. I don't know if it's true or not. We're trying to just see if that was just a rumour. In light of all that, how is the security? Have there been any threats? How's Mr. Macron going? What is the mood in the town like?
Well, I can tell you a lot of the Parisians have taken off to the south of France. So it's pretty quiet, actually. It reminds me of London in 2012, where all the Poms decided, oh, no, we're not going to hang around for this. and it was sensational. It got into every restaurant in town. The roads were great. The lockdown has been absolutely a ring of steel.
Yep.
Mate, there is. You walk out the door and you just see people walking around with machine guns left, right, and centre. Because of the opening ceremony in the Seine, they've shut off that whole area for the last 2 weeks. So you can imagine the French are nice and angry about that. The taxi drivers are always complaining, and the restaurateurs, etc. There'll be a big influx, probably starting tomorrow, of the internationals coming in. But last night we were in the second Grandemont having dinner and sitting in a town square area, beautiful setup, sort of a little bit outside. So it was the locals, and about 12 to 15 armed army personnel just marched through, and it was quite not confronting so much. I mean, I've been around the place a bit, but at the same time, you couldn't help but think of the jackboots coming through in World War II, coming through Paris,
and that's what
you
they
look
did.
up and you see, the full army kit on, heads swiveling, looking, and armed to the teeth. And you went, wow, okay, this is Europe. This is what Europe's all about. So, I think for the Aussies, already, for example, Sam, the Aussie athletes have had their phones, their laptops, their sporting equipment all knocked off, all sorts of things going on. The petty thievery as well. So being warned on the trains, be careful, don't carry a bag, do this. If you carry a watch, good luck, say goodbye to it, get a photo of it for memories, all those types of things. So you've got to be right on your game.
Have the officials relented and allowed air conditioning in the Olympic Village?
No, but the Aussies have brought their own.
Is that extraordinary? Yeah. What's the point of it then?
They've got the cardboard beds, of course, but which apparently are sturdy. Well, time will tell over 2 weeks in the Olympic Village. But
that'll give it the loyalty test, the cardboard beds, let me tell you that.
Absolutely. So that's all happening. But the Aussies have brought, and a number of teams have brought their own air conditioning because, mind you, it's reasonably mild at the moment. So
that's like having an electric car and keeping. That's like having an electric car and keeping in the boot a petrol-driven generator just in case the battery goes flat.
That's exactly it.
Now, Ed, I've just got to ask you this. I've just got to ask you this. I noticed that the Collingwood fans, you would be across this, have cited the fact that that the captain, Darcy Moore, doesn't live with his girlfriend, Dee, whatever her name is, Dee, I can't find her name. They've cited that as his poor form, and she has come out and said the heterodynamic learnt behaviour and the heteronormative learnt patriarchal I couldn't follow what any of them were saying, but they've said that because he doesn't live with his girlfriend, his form has hit a drastic slump. Have you ever heard anything, or do you pay credence to that, Ed?
Well, Murray Wiedemann said the same thing to me one time.
Dee Selman, her name is, sorry. Yep.
Murray Wiedemann said the same thing to me once upon a time, and Bob Rose. They used to go through the same things.
Oh, fair dinkum.
Could you imagine Lou, Murray, and Bob standing around discussing that? No. Well, hey, look. As they say in the Caper these days, he's a different cat, and but he's never lived with his girlfriend anyway, so it didn't affect him last year when he was the All-Australian Premiership captain.
Wouldn't it be a bonus not living with your girlfriend? Wouldn't it, just do what you want to do, have lunch and dinner and maybe some horizontal refreshment and then repair to your different quarters, to your different addresses?
It didn't slow down Her Majesty the Queen and Prince Philip. They domiciled in adjoining rooms.
Heteronormative learnt patriarchal behaviour. That was that was what it was considered at. The male-dominated man ruling the roost. And they've jumped up and down about that.
Well, I just love the outrage about the outrage these days. It's just sensational.
Yes, spot on.
Knowing Maury would be laughing his head off about it all. His partner is I think she has a sex therapist,
Sunday hookup. It's called the Sunday hookup. It's a sex course or a sex clinic.
Yeah. So naturally, if that's your line of expertise, you're looking into the intricacies of these things a little bit more than hooking up on Tinder or something like that. She's got slightly more depth to her in the conversation about sex and the relationships involved in it, and the subliminal motifs of life, Sam. So
no, you're spot on. The outrage about the outrages. I reckon that's the best. Yeah, the people, the feigned indignation of something like that could happen, and all the gnashing of the teeth and the forelock tugging. It's extraordinary. Yeah.
I can imagine you and I'd be in a conversation with those two over dinner, and you go, pass the wine, will you, Sam? Thank you, mate. Can you pass over the bread? Yeah, no worries, Ed. Here we go. Thank you. It's just conversation. People, it's like me banging on about the Olympics here. I'm all excited about it. Probably most people couldn't give a stuff. It's what you love. It's what you've always said. Whatever turns you on, that's whatever gets you through the night, as John Lennon used to say. And if that's what people do, if that's what they're thinking, if they're trying to broaden their minds, well, good luck to them.
Ed,
just get a kick is what I want to do. Get a kick. Stop double fisting the ball away and take a mark and back yourself in, son.
I just did notice a picture came over of, I don't know if it's the hotel the athletes are staying in, but had the Australian flag on the front of it, and beside it was the Aboriginal flag and the Torres Strait Islander flag. I just thought for a minute we were representing Australia under the one flag, but no. Has any other country got 8 or 9 flags up beside their name? No, I won't ask. I won't get you to answer that, Ed. That's just couldn't believe it.
But but
but what?
It started when Kathy did. Well, Kathy did the lap with the Indigenous flag and the Australian flag.
That's correct.
Look, anything if they're all together, if there's only sort of one up, then then you'd probably have the Australian flag. But if you've got all of them there together, then why not? Whatever. As I said, mate, whatever makes everybody happy.
Well, that's exactly the point, Ed. Whatever makes what makes us happy is just is competing under the Australian flag. All the other stuff's fantastic, but we are under one flag now, Ed. This has been fantastic.
They'll be under that if they win the gold medal, mate. That's the one that goes up.
Now, Ed, thank you so much for doing this. That's the most informative. You've knocked Bruce into a cocked hat. That's the most informative rundown of the Olympics I've ever heard. And you are a star, Ed, and we'll watch with absolute bated breath for your commentary and see how the Aussies go over there in Paris. Thank you so much for joining us.
Before I go, I've got to say I did watch the international feed of the football on the weekend, and I was most disconcerted to see there was some mud down at your old stomping ground there at Cardinia Park. And I was just wondering whether or not we could get another grant to maybe fix the turf down there.
That's right.
I think the government should kick in a bit more. They haven't had much. What is going on down there? Seriously?
I know. I saw that myself.
They played a practice match. They played a reserves game, Sam. You and I, that I sometimes just rub my head with the AFL thinking, if you're going to have a curtain raiser, what month of the year would you not have a curtain raiser? Just
the middle of winter.
Out of curiosity. The middle of winter, that would probably be it. Yeah, yep. So let's have one for the year. Let's. Where would we put that? Middle of winter. That's like when they want to go up to far north Queensland. They go out in the wet season. You go, oh my god.
Dear me.
Did anybody not ring Lavinia Nixon? Just ask. Anyway.
Yes, absolutely. Ed, you're a star, mate. Thank you so much.
I'm off to have some butterfly wings and aspic jelly, as you told me to have.
That's it.
With the frog legs to the side.
That's right. Blake said he got frog legs. He said, hop over the bar and get us a cheese sandwich, will you, mate? Yeah. All right. Good on you, Ed. All the best and stay safe.
You too, mate. Safe travels for you.
Thank you so much.
Cheers, mate.
All right. Well, just presume he's not on, but that's fantastic. What an insight into, and what a star that, I hope he's not on the line. What a star that boy is. I mean, he's actually going to do the ceremony, the opening, the closing. He's going to interview he is the best in the business, in the world. He has no peer. I say that. I've worked with him for best part of quarter of a century. Best part of, except when he went up to run the company, and the great Gary Lyon and James Brayshaw and Hutchie and Rebecca took over. But he is the best, And we'll be well served by the commentary and the Olympics. So thank you very much for him joining us over there on You Cannot Be Serious. So we'll say that is it.